This is a read of Zensuon Crystal Age, Chapter 3. A lovely day for a barbecue, where a duo comes crashing into the belly of the ship, and an unexpected encounter turns unexpectedly magical, in a violent way. Crash! The door slammed against the wooden walls of the ship as it opened wide, giving a strange metallic yawn. Raka looked forward with ferocious eyes, fingers curled around his axe and nostrils flaring. Mika stood behind all of that, almost as if fearing the room would break simply by being in Raka's presence. Mika glanced around quickly and took note of four clothed constructs, which stopped what they were doing and stared back. The hooded wood people were trying to dislodge something inserted secretly, now no more, out of a pillar found in the middle of the room. That something looked like a large safe. Several locks on its metal casing were already broken by violence, and an eerie shine peeked through the black case the construct had started to burst asunder. The room itself was large, taking up a big part of the lower ship. The room was a foot deep, or knee deep for halflings, in water and seemed heavily reinforced. Of course, the water coming from below suggested that whoever designed this place did not consider someone would blow up the bottom of the hole. The water level was rising at an alarming rate, which made Mika realize he only swam a few times on vacation before. Naraka! Mika said and pointed to the four hooded construct, whence upon Raka leapt into action. Two of the hooded figure launched forward to meet the orc, while the other two continued to try and break the final lock, trying to reach whatever it was that shone from within the sturdy and somewhat broken case. The orc came with a horizontal slash from above, angled just slightly with extra force from his dominant hand, so he could turn it into a full swing at both enemies. Yet when he heard the shot instead of the thrush, Naraka knew something was wrong. The first construct, who came to meet the orc up front, managed to anticipate the downward swing. It did not, however, anticipate an angled swing and deflected only a part of it with its short sword following the motion. The construct took a structural damage from the greenskin brute strength, but not enough to break. The second construct, which came from the side thinking, that is, if you believed one side of the golem debate, that it could outsmart the orc, met with the end of the deflected attack. It was not expecting the orc to go full swing to get it as well. This underestimation of a battle-sworn orc cost the wooden man a wooden arm. The plank that was once an arm ended up flailing onto the floor alongside torn cloth. However, being only wood, metal, and intention, the golem rushed without pause behind the orc. The two figures now flanked the orc. The one in front swung its short sword forward and aimed his blade true for the greenskin's chest. That attack was met with an upward rebuttal of the orc's axe, easily stopping it by the combination of his strength and weapon size. The golem from before did not wait further, and at that moment struck the orc at the same gaping wound at his back as he was previously penetrated, paralyzing pangs plunging Naraka to a painful pause. The orc growled deeply, like some manner of animal refusing to yet meet its end. But as the wound started leaking, it was obvious to Mika that a brute's willpower alone would not be enough to keep the orc going much longer. These constructs were here since the start of the attack. Mika recalled the splashes of water around the boats they came from. That golem just anticipated a downward strike. How did they know Naraka would strike from above? Did they also know about the wound? Did the construct only see it then? But these things are just wood and metal. How do they see? How do they communicate? No time to go into deeper details now. Naraka, they know how you smash those above. Try something different. Mika shouted in hope that the information would keep the orc alive. Just as that piece of advice left the halfling's mouth, the two constructs at the back finally cracked open the pillar safe, extracting that brightly shining purple tantalizing. Crystal? That's a giant Baetylus! Can magic stone get to that size? I guess they can. Well, shit! Must be the size of my chest. Windy Stelia! That's the biggest one I've ever seen. Wait. Was that the Grand Baetylus the rumors were on about? And it was under my nose the entire time? Wait. Didn't the rumors say that the shards are inside Zensuon? Why is this one in the canal leading into it? Why am I overthinking this? It's here! Finally! Power! Wealth! Women! Okay, maybe first getting out of here alive. Mika's thoughts ran ahead of him, while his body remained frozen, gasping at the sight. However, the halfling quickly recovered, hearing a grunt from his orc. He drew forth his sling, aimed, and whistled. The stifled air in the belly of the ship twisted and shaped to Mika's winds. His will, expressed by his sharp tune, augmented the air around his sling in such a way that the metal ball discharged from his weapon spun on its axis. The wind itself course-corrected and thrusted forward until it made a hole in the base of the hooded figure's one remaining arm. The strike caused the wood and metal bands to explode on impact and create a hole larger than a metallic ball's size, prompted by the sudden burst of wind that erupted on impact. The remains of the arm came clanging down the sword. The construct in front of Mika and behind Naraka was now, literally, disarmed. Naraka, however, was far too lost in his own twisted rage to notice anything but his wound-borne pain, and decided to do what he does best: roar in the name of bloody violence. The orc brought up the axe for another blood drawing, though giving the nature of the constructs perhaps more wood drawing, swing down at the already slightly cracked construct. The attacking construct, on its end, was already in the process of bringing its sword to Naraka's chest, that is, until light filled the room, purple and violet and violent, nearly, if not as much as the orc. It struck Mika's eyes and blinded him for a moment. A single moment, that's all it took. As the halfling looked back up, he witnessed one of the strangest things he saw. The axe the orc wielded, that gigantic thing even the greenskin needed 2 hands for, opened up? Yes, it looked like nothing more than a chipped battle axe before. It now parts of its hilt pulled open. The wide side of its blade sunk and slid aside, as within blinking lights of green and white shone like tiny aligned stars. A sound like a constant repeating chirp of a bird emanated from it, as if the animal was stuck in there, crying to be let out. Mika could not recall ever seeing a thing like this occur, and less so what happened next. The magic stone, snatched by the 2 constructs at the back, sent what could only be described as a limb of purple light outwards. The strange tendril squirmed towards the chirping axe, and touched it for what felt like an eternity, squeezed tightly into an instant. Both the wooden man and Naraka were too busy with their own battle to note what Mika saw every part of. The axe, infused with that touch, burst into flames. Then down came the weapon to strike the construct, and fire tumbled forth in a bloom. The flames trailed down the orc's legs to the watery surface and rushed forward. It was as if the flames were liquid, integrating themselves with the water, mixing, feeding from it. Whereupon the fire exploded upwards from the water below, engulfing the orc and the 2 wood metal men made collaborations. The construct people wisped away at that magical impulse as if made out of paper, while the orc stood in the middle of that maelstrom. Naraka's clothes turned into black scourged pores, embedded into his skin. The said skin turned a few degrees higher in burns and a few degrees lower in shade. The axe shaped by fire in Naraka's hand seemed more like a fire shaped to be like an axe in Mika's eyes. That's when the halfling realized that the orc was focusing on keeping the heat-radiating weapon in hand rather than running after the 2 constructs fleeing with the magic crystal, and fast. "Let go of that weapon!" Mika shouted, noticing the axe was out of control. The fire leaking from it was consuming the already wooden orc quicker and more intensely than a mold of dried leaves. But Naraka didn't glance at the halfling. The orc's eyes were on the axe. His eyes filled with no doubt that he will survive. To this day, Nuraka had not lost a challenge laid before him, no matter the sacrifices, and he knew thusly. What comes at you must be overcome, and your strength must be shown. You must be looked at as the strongest in any method, shape, or form. If not, death may come from your opponent, the unrelating ice, or the hunger that comes from not consuming what you had killed. Chopper! Nuraka grunted at the axe. A chant, a name from which he could draw more strength and overcome more challenges. A name of a strong axe, his axe. To let go of it would make him weak. In weakness, there is only death. While this self-inflammation ritual was going on, the crystal ran out of view by the wooden hands of the constructs, its shine fading from the room. The fire surrounding the orc and the one flowing from the axe had too faded in turn. I cannot fade, Nuraka fought. From splash was heard as he faded.